Students, in today's class we are going to see an important data structure, that is linked list, and this is an introduction and a fundamental for the course data structures in the third semester. And what is going to be a linked list? And this linked list is actually a data structure. And before that I should tell you what is actually a data structure. Data structure, in simple terms, it is actually a representation for data. Data is a very important concept, and the representation for data we can have different structures. And one data structure I will tell you, arrays. Arrays is a familiar data structure, already you have learned in C programming language. That's a data structure used for storing homogeneous data. And here linked list, what is the difference between a list and a linked list? Linked list is an important concept, and this is nothing but a dynamic memory allocation. Okay, linked list is for dynamic memory allocation, and whereas if we see array, I hope you know what is actually an array. Array is going to be a static allocation. Array is actually a static allocation, and linked list is nothing but a dynamic allocation. And here what is meant by dynamic allocation means, during the runtime you can tell the compiler how many locations you need, how many memory locations you need. Okay, if you see an array, and if I am declaring an array like this, int a is a variable, right? Int a is a variable, and inside this square bracket for array declaration I have to specify how many cells I need. Maybe 10, maybe 5, maybe 6. And no compiler allows you to leave the size blank. You have to specify the size. It is 10, 5 or 100 or anything. And if I declare an array like this, int a 10, then 10 memory locations are reserved for storing 10 integers. Then how many bytes are actually reserved? Any idea? An integer, if you assume that it's a normal integer, 2 bytes are reserved, then 10 into 2, 20 bytes will be reserved. How many bytes are actually reserved? 10 into 2, 20 bytes are reserved in advance. This is nothing but an advance reservation. Just like if you are performing a long journey, you will reserve flight tickets in advance and you will reserve train tickets in advance. And as far as flights are concerned, you cannot travel without a reservation, right? The seats are properly reserved. And during the course, okay, there is no dynamic reservation. Okay, there is no dynamic reservation. And here the thing is, in the case of linked list, and one more thing, if I declare an array like this, int a10, then I told you, apart from the properties of the array, 20 bytes will be reserved. Then one important point is that though I am reserving 20 bytes in advance, thinking that my program will be using maximum 10 integers. Okay, I just assume that, okay, during the course of program execution or during any runtime environment, I just assume that my program is using maximum 10 integers. Then I am fixing almost an upper bound as 10. Okay, this is nothing but you can use it or you can view it as an upper bound. This is an upper bound, and this upper bound is nothing but the maximum locations. Okay, upper bound is nothing but the maximum number of locations. And when actually if I am using only 5 locations, then the remaining 5 locations are waste. They will be reserved for my program. But assume that during this or at a particular time, my program uses only 5 numbers. Okay, I am giving only 5 numbers as input. Then what happens to the remaining 5 locations reserved for the 5 number? They are actually waste. And this is the property of advanced reservation. And this will result in bad memory management. And this is actually a memory wastage. Okay, here you can see this is a memory wastage. And apart from that, one more point is there. If I don't know how many numbers I am going to use, okay, I have no idea. Sometimes I will use 5 numbers. Okay, assume that sometimes I am using 5 numbers. Sometimes I will use 20 numbers. and sometimes my program will use 100 numbers and sometimes it is 2. A wide range of numbers I am going to use. Then is it wise to use an array? Definitely no, because array is an advanced reservation. Okay, if I am considering this is the upper bound 100, then I have to declare an array of 100. Then 100 locations are reserved. But during different running instances, I may be using 5, then remaining 95 are wastage, and I may be using only 80 and the 20 and the remaining 80 are actually not using, unused. And certain instance I am using only 2 and the remaining 98, a huge, a bulk memory wastage. Therefore, a very clear thing is go for linked list. And what is actually linked list? It is a representation, it is a data structure like array, but that is a dynamic data structure. Okay, dynamic memory allocation is followed in dynamic memory allocation. Okay, you have to keep a note and take it down. Dynamic memory allocation. Okay, dynamic memory allocation is used. And what is actually dynamic memory allocation? You need not tell the compiler, like in the case of arrays, how many locations or how many memory locations you need in advance. And here the points are actually, here you can see the points are actually explained here. Okay, I hope you are seeing this slide. I will give you the slide also. And the important points are successive elements are connected by pointers. Okay, that point I will explain. The last elements points to null. It can grow or shrink. Okay, what I was explaining was actually the third point, a runtime allocation. Okay, sometimes I need only 2 location. Sometimes I need only 10 memory location. Sometimes 7 and sometimes 50. And only those, okay, it can grow or shrink in size during the execution of a program as per the requirement. As per the requirement, the size may be 2. As per the requirement, the size may be 10. From 2, if it is moving to 10, that is a growing size. And already 10 locations are allocated and the next time you are using only 7, that means it is a shrinking. 7 is a low size compared to 10. Okay, it can grow or shrink in size during the execution of a program. It can be made just as long as required. It can be made just as long as required. According to the requirement, you can make its length, proper length. It does not waste any memory space because as per the demand only the memory is allocated. If my demand is 2, only 2 is allocated. If my demand is 5, then 5 is allocated. Okay. And here you can see in the diagram, there are some special things. Okay. And here you can see some blocks, some rectangular box you are seeing. Okay. Like this, I will draw it here. And this rectangular box has got 2 compartments. And the first compartment, they have written an A here. And what is this A? Any idea? This is actually the data part. That is actually the information we are storing. And what is the second one? You can see here a dot. And this is nothing but a pointer. What is this actually? This is a pointer. And what is a pointer? Here I have to, or we have to recall our idea regarding what is going to be a pointer. Pointer is an important concept. Okay, before moving this particular slide, I would like to give very few explanation regarding what is meant by a pointer. Okay, as simplicity, simply consider a variable declaration like this: int a is equal to 10. Okay, what actually this statement do? This statement instructs the compiler to allocate a location for the integer variable a and assign the value 10 in that location. That means put that value 10 in the location. And if this is something like this, if the whole thing is actually the memory, assume that the bigger rectangle is the memory, then what the statement tells the compiler? This actually instructs the compiler to allocate a location for the integer variable a and put the value 10 in that location. Okay, where it will be allocating, we don't have any idea. Wherever it finds free space, it will be allocating that location. And assume that this is going to be that location. And what is the name? The user given name is A. And what is the value? The value is actually 10. Then apart from that, this location has one more identity or one more property. What is it actually? Address of this particular location. That is machine address. What address actually? Machine address. Okay, machine address. This A is user given name. And what is a machine address? It is very difficult to remember the machine address, and we don't know the machine address. But assume that it is some numerical value or hexadecimal value, and suppose this value is 1320. 1320 is the address, and associated with this simple memory or simple declaration, we have many information. What actually this statement tells the compiler to allocate 2 bytes for the user defined variable A and put 10 in that location. And the machine address is actually 1320. Okay, and this is actually the variable, and this is actually the value, and this is actually the machine address. This is actually the address, and this has got three information: variable, value, and the machine address. Okay, I hope it is clear. Just take a moment and see. Okay, then what are actually the pointers? Pointers are variables that hold memory addresses. And what actually the pointer does? Pointer does not store ordinary values. Okay, and this is an ordinary, this is a variable. This is not a pointer. What actually it holds? It holds integers. And if it is float, it will be holding floating point value or real value. And what is actually a pointer? Pointer holds memory addresses. Pointer always holds memory addresses. This is very important concept in C language. What actually a pointer holds? Pointer always holds memory addresses. And since a pointer is also a variable, that means we have to tell the compiler that this P is a pointer variable. Its value will also need some memory location. It's very important. Okay, pointer, the content of the pointer is actually an address, and something like this we will see. Okay, if we have some other things we'll take. The declaration, some examples we will take. Okay, we will see int x equal to 5. This is a declaration statement. Then int star p. Okay, this you should not confuse. This is x and this is actually an asterisk symbol. Int star p. And these two declarations are different. What is this actually? Int x equal to, int x is going to be 5, and in the star p, this is a pointer variable declaration, and this is an ordinary data declaration, integer variable declaration. Both are different. X is actually an int variable. X is, what is actually x? An integer variable. And what is actually p? An integer pointer variable. What is actually p? Integer pointer variable. And how actually it differs? And let us assume that this is actually our x, and what's the value we are storing? If it is 5, then this is like 5. Then what is the address? Let it be 1024 is going to be the machine address. Then our declaration, if I am writing a statement, p is equal to address of x. X is the variable. P is equal to address of x, and this operator is called ampersand. Okay, what is this operator? This is nothing but ampersand. And what actually it stores? And if this pointer variable will also have a location, and what is the user given name? P. And what is the machine address? I don't know. Maybe 2000 to 2021 is the machine address. Then what is the content? Content is actually address of X. What is the address? 1024. Got it? This is how the variable and a pointer variable differs. Okay, this is how a variable and a pointer variable differs. And we need pointers here. We need pointers here. And the linked list, you can see linked list, a particular member of a linked list. A simple view is it can be divided into many compartments, and simply we will be dividing it into two compartments. The first one will be storing data and the second one will be storing pointer. And which pointer actually? Pointer to next element. What is actually pointer to next element? And see the diagram. Here you can see in the diagram, here you can see here the first element of the linked list stores A, and there is a pointer pointing to the second element, and second element stores B, and there is here you can see there are three elements A, B and C. Okay, I hope you are seeing it. A, B and C, and A is the first element. A is going to be the first element and it will be pointing to the next element, that is B. Then it is again pointing to the third element, that is C, and after that there is no element. That is why the symbol is shown ground. And the first element will have a special pointer. Since it is the first element, it is called head. What is actually called head, and a pointer, head pointer will be always pointing to the first element. Head pointer, where it is actually pointing, it is pointing to the first element. Okay, first element it will be pointing. Okay, then there are three elements, and this is a memory, dynamic memory allocation. One element, if only three elements means three memory locations are allocated during runtime. The memory allocation is dynamic, means it is allocated during runtime, and this is the first member and this is going to be the second member and this is going to be the third member. Then this member, how the data is given, how we are going to do this, that will be clear in the successive allocation. And here just we will see how we can have the basic operations of a linked list. One is actually the creation of a linked list, and here working with the linked list, I would like to take an example. Here you can see, consider the structure. Okay, what is this rectangular box or this rectangular structure is called? It is called by a special name node. Okay, so far I have been using the word element, but remember that this is mentioned using the word node. And here you can see, just forget about all those things, and I hope and I would like to recall your memory with structure. What is the difference between a structure and an array? Array is a homogeneous collection of data. Integer array means you can store only integers. Floating point array means you can store only floating point numbers, real numbers. And whereas if I see some table, something like this, okay, this is actually a table, and here I am storing some information. First one is roll number. Assume that I am storing student's roll number. Second one is student's name, and third one is age. Okay, student roll number 13 and student's name ABC and age 19. This is one information I am storing. And the second information, okay, this is one row is one complete information. And what are the column headings? Roll number, name and age. This is something like information management. Okay, how we are going to manage the information. And this is not a homogeneous data. First one is an integer. Second one is actually a string. What is this actually? A string. and the third one is also an integer. Okay, next roll number, it is 21 and the name is XYZ and the age is 20. Like this we will store or we will record all the information. And how we can write a structure or a template for storing this type of information in C programming language. Is it possible with integers? No, because integers can store only integer value. This is something like a packed information. I hope you are seeing this. This is something like a packed data. This is actually called a row or a record. A row or it is called a record. And this is actually corresponds to the information concerned with a unique student. His roll number is 13. His name is ABC. And his age is 19. Am I right? Okay. And how we are going to do this? And arrays won't help us because this is a collection of heterogeneous data, not a homogeneous collection. Therefore, we can't do it with multidimensional arrays. And C helps us to do with a data structure, a type declaration, that is struct. And we have to, like integer, after int we will give a variable name, and here also we have to give a name. Struct stud is the name. Stud is the user given name. Then an open bracket, then a close bracket and a semicolon. In between that, you should remember the table I have drawn previously. The first column was roll number. What was the type? Data type, and entered there. Roll number is normally integers. Therefore, int roll. Second one was name. Name is a character. Then I can write character name. Then it is declared as an array. Within the bracket I am specifying maximum as 25. Okay. And the next one was actually age. Int age. And this is actually the structure declaration. And this is the structure you have learned in C programming language. And here also on the right hand side you can see what difference you are seeing. The same thing, int roll number, character name and int age. And what difference you are seeing? You are seeing the last one, that is struct stud then star next. And this is called self-referential structures. What they are called? Self-referential structures. And this is not an easy concept. This takes some moment to understand what is meant by self-referential structures. And the next video we will be talking self-referential structures in detail. And for the time being, it's winding up. Okay, thank you.